I,
Dan,
a
go ahead.
lot of this is still a good experience for Donovan Smith. I think 'cause he's still relatively young as a starter quarterback and even playing quarterback because broadcast teams have mentioned how he hasn't been playing quarterback that long, let alone being a starter. And so he seems to be more comfortable and he's accurate when you give it time. And his receivers did a good job of catching the football today. And so, I mean, it's going to be big for Donovan going back to Texas Tech and get a tough crowd who played Oregon really, really well at home. And we see what Oregon just did to Colorado. And so I think it's going to be a tough test, but it's really more about the run game. I think can the running back game be consistent? And although Parker Jenkins will be the starter, I think it'll still be a running back by committee. A lot of some of those other guys will still get touches because I don't know if he'll be as successful as he was against Sam Houston. I think his explosiveness still sticks out, and he still would be good, but can they still be as successful as they was tonight is what we have to keep an eye on.
Agreed, and most of the fans believe Parker should be getting a starting role soon, if not continue next Saturday against Texas Tech. Rex 32 brings up a good, as we know, asking us how do we think Donovan Smith is going to handle being on the other side against Texas Tech next Saturday?
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully, now that him being on the Houston sideline, it tends to bode well. The last time when the two programs were on the field in Lubbock, and Donovan Smith's team was on the successful side of things, and they were able to come away with a win because of Donovan Smith making the play. Although, again, that 4th and 20 going back, I don't think I'm ever going to forget that 4th and 20 from that 2022 season. It very well could have changed the Houston season a season ago. But anyways, I digress. It very well could be emotional, but I think once he gets into the flow of the game, once he starts playing, I don't think it'll be that much of a distraction, that much of a focal point once the game actually starts. Yeah. I'm sure Donovan Smith knows that those questions are going to be coming, especially on Tuesday if he's made available to the media. He'll be on what is it like going back to Lubbock? Is it going to be weird, this and that? And I'm sure pregame when he's warming up, it might be a little bit weird. But once the game gets going, gets the first throw in, I don't think it'd be that much of a big deal for him.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Andy. I think it's part of the storyline going into the next game against Texas Tech. He asked questions about it, and like you said, in warm-ups, hearing the fans, I think it probably help him be more competitive. I mean, I'm sure he's a highly competitor, help him really get ready for this game, and hopefully he can come out and have a good performance. He'll be comfortable in that crowd, knowing how loud it is, knowing how loud it can be from experience, but now he'll be on the other side of it. But I think he's been well composed throughout the year. I think he'd continue.
I think this is the obvious answer. He'll be as effective as the offensive line allows him to be.
Yeah.
He's comfortable in the pocket. He made some really good throws. The line gave him time to, go to even some check down routes, things like he made some real good throws.
And he seemed more comfortable in the system.
Yeah, he did that. But again, we're basing it on Sam Houston.
Yeah.
So let's see what they do against Texas Tech, another Big 12 opponent. So we're giving compliments to him in the line and knocking down Sam Houston because it's Sam Houston. But we got to see what they do against Texas Tech next Saturday.
I would just say, although to Sam Houston's credit, they really they gave BYU problems week 1, and BYU's been able to put up some points.
You're correct, which is interesting. So
yeah,
matchups.
Be the week 1 lead.
Yeah, week by week, but also that was week 1, first game of the year. Some teams take a quarter or half or two, a couple games to get your identity, your flow going, a rhythm.
And Sam Houston, they might have been as healthier then than they are now. Because as this game progressed, they were getting more and more banged up and guys dropping life flies. And they for sure don't have the depth of talent like Houston and bigger programs do, definitely.
Agreed.
But
even when it comes to Houston, that offensive line, Chris, just to add on to your point, that is most definitely a cause for concern. Because even in this game, we saw a couple of different linemen go in and out, specifically when it comes to Ruben. Not necessarily sure whether it was an illness. I don't know if you guys have seen the video that circulated on social media when he was around 50-yard line and he just literally puked. He vomited all over the field, and then he went he did still played his down, and then after that down is when he went on the floor and they had to take him out of the game. So I'm not sure if he was just dealing with an illness, anything more serious when it came to injury or any other causes for that. But again, at a position in offensive line that has been at times inconsistent when it comes to different blocking, that's not something that is going to benefit the program, the offense specifically in the long run, as they just shut down the lights here on the field.
And I'll say this, it potentially does not bode well for Houston's offensive linemen to pick up holding penalties against Sam Houston defensive players.
I mean, I get.
you know where I'm going with it, though?
No. I get where you're going with it, but we still can't undermine the talent and some of the athletic ability of some of those players on Sam Houston. I get where you're going, though. I get what you're saying. I understand it, but we still can't undermine some of those players and their athletic ability to be able to cause some of those in football, because they still on this level of talent, and they can one-on-one matchup. You can cause a 100 penalty. That's just getting beat. You know what I'm saying? Certain advantage. I get what you're saying, though.
It's fair. We'll see next Saturday against Texas Tech.
Yeah.
This question here, I'm not sure about this. Y'all help me out. Has Dana beaten a Big 12 team since he arrived at Houston? Has he?
Not yet.
I don't think so.
Not yet.
He's lost to Texas Tech twice. He lost to Kansas. He lost to TCU. He's lost to, are those all the Big 12 programs that they played under? In 2019, he lost to Oklahoma. He's lost to, I think that's all of them that he's been in Houston. And against just Power 5 programs, period, he's really struggled.
He's 1-12 against the Power 5. So I don't believe he's got a win over a Big 12 team. Yeah.
No, not with Houston.
He has not. Our intelligent audience, he hasn't. And 0-11, Big 12, yeah. All right, I have not seen the line. Just gut. What do you think is going to happen next Saturday?
Any given Saturday, I think it'll be a competitive game. I just think I'll be watching the offense. I think Houston defense has been opportunistic throughout this entire season. They've given us some yards, but they'll create a turnover. They'll get a sack. They'll cause a fumble or a punt to get the ball back in the offense's hands. So I'm really going to be seeing, can the offense move the ball and sustain drives and finish with touchdowns? I mean, you can get in the red zone and stall out or get a field goal, but can they finish with touchdowns? And can they be consistent? That's what I'm going to be watching. I think they put some things together from Sam Houston, but against Texas Tech, more talent on the road, that's what I'm going to be looking for. Can they do that?
Yeah, agreed 100%. I'm sorry, Chris, I didn't mean to cut you off. Just when it comes to the offense against TCU, they were able to move the ball a little bit in between the 20s, but once they got into the red zone, they were not able to capitalize, period. And again, against TCU, they only managed to score 2 field goals.
Right.
That's all the offense they put up. And they were aided by turnovers that the defense had forced early on in the first half. The lone touchdown obviously came on the kickoff return by Golden. So the offense, it struggled against UTSA, was non-existent for the first half against Rice, and then they turned on the Jets in that second half against Rice, not enough to win. And then it was non-existent against TCU. Can they do it against a Power 5 program? That's the question. And it starts with the offensive line, and it starts with the consistency from Donovan Smith, and specifically when it comes to the playmakers. Hopefully, when it comes to Matt Golden, who's one of those big playmakers that Houston is going to rely on. They were expected to rely on him heading into the season. With the strong performance he put against Sam Houston, 9 catches for 92 yards and the touchdown that he had, can build them, and they can have at least the 2-3-headed monster when it comes to Sam Brown, Matt Golden, Joseph Manjack, and now you do have weapons. Now they're starting to have some weapons when it comes to Parker Jenkins, and maybe Tony Mathis is healthy and ready to go for next week. Maybe Stacey Sneed makes a play here and there. Maybe Brandon Campbell makes a play here and there. They have weapons. It all comes down to execution, in my opinion.
Yep. I just wanted to thank the secondary sponsors. Star Pizza with multiple locations across the Houston area. Star Pizza is your go-to shop before or after the game. And of course, by SACAV.com, your one-stop shop for officially licensed SAC Ave merchandise.
And that is an NIL. That is an NIL sanctioned, so officially licensed merchandise. That's why it's officially licensed merchandise, because it is an NIL deal with the defensive lineman on SAC Ave.
And Juan Trejo says Dana's lone P5 win was in the Birmingham Bowl against Auburn. Auburn was 6-6 in that one. Boy, that says a lot right there about Dana. Anyway,
he really celebrated that one.
Yeah, I'll leave that alone because I'm not gonna.
Not today, Chris.
Yeah,
not today, Chris.
Ti says UH will still find a way to lose against Tech.
Wow. Yeah, I gotta believe it. I gotta believe it to see it. As I'm going for Houston, but optimistically, I gotta see them be able to execute a full quarter game, coaching wise, player wise, as an entire program against a Power 5 team, to be able to say that they're gonna do it. I think they have the talent and all of that.
You know, that's where the program is right now. Fans are in a wait and see mode. Waiting to see Houston prove it against a Big 12 team, win a game on the road in a hostile environment in the Big 12. Because it hasn't been done yet. The questions are still there. All of us have doubts. Fans giving the comments has doubts. We have doubts. You know, we're media credentialed to cover the team. We have doubts. But Matt Golden had a good night. 11 different Coogs caught passes tonight, so they spread it around. And Orbiter says, we always be losing Tech backup QBs.
That is true.
That's true. Yeah. T.I. says, I'm sorry. Well, don't be sorry. But Houston's still plagued with the same issues that got, hey. And he said, T.I. said, I've been in wait-and-see mode since Hogo's year one. He's not alone in that.
I think Donovan Mitchell, I think he really looked more comfortable. Just the decisions that he was making, how quickly. Donovan Smith, I'm sorry. With how quick and decisive he was making his decision with his check downs and just his accuracy. I think if he can take what he did today and probably what he's been building on throughout the entire practice, offseason, and all that, this could be the coming out game for him. I mean, because he hasn't really put the ball in harm's way and just turn it over. It's just about sustaining drives, getting those first downs, making the throws, receivers catching the ball. And so, I mean, like I said, I want to see, can they do it for a full 4 quarters? Not just him, but the entire offense, all line, D-line, coaching staff, everybody.
And that's the key. That is still the uncertainty with this team. They're 2-2, Game 5 next Saturday on the road against Texas Tech. All right. Raiders are going to have a backup quarterback against the Coogs next Saturday. If the Coogs, just put it like that, I'll put it out there for everybody, Andy down as well. If the Coogs play their A game, if the Raiders play their A game, who wins?
If both teams play their A game?
Yes, if both teams play their A game, who wins?
Have to go Texas Tech.
And why is that?
Both teams, because Texas Tech, top to bottom, even if you want to, but going back to what you said last week, Chris, you feel that if it's any coach against Dana Holmgren, you're going to take any coach.
Anybody, yep.
But I just feel like Texas Tech, top to bottom, they're more of a complete roster. Their ceiling is higher when it comes to depth, when it comes to across the board. If they both play their A game, now with them being having a backup quarterback, I'm not sure how they'll be able to hit that ceiling against Houston.
He's played before, so it's not like he hasn't played.
Sophomore quarterback. He went 13 to 37 today with a touchdown, no interception. They both teams play their best with this quarterback. I'm gonna go with Houston. Honestly, I can't definitively say that they're a better team top to bottom. I think they did have a good recruiting class, but Houston did as well. And Houston has talent. I don't look at Houston and be like, oh, they don't have the talent, because they could have beat TCU. They could. It's not when I watch them. So I can't, in my opinion, from what I've observed, that I don't know if Texas Tech has a better one. But I will say at home, they played Oregon really, really, really tough. So if they can play that type of game like they did against Houston, then I can see them winning Houston. But I think if Houston plays its best game and they execute and defense comes out and they're able to get pressure on that quarterback with their front four without having to blitz, and their offense can get some touchdowns and not fall behind and be balanced with the running and the passing, then I think that Houston really has a shot, because they have talent on the outside, in the backfield, on all levels. Yeah.
Well, I'm picking Texas Tech in a case of if both teams play their A game, and really two reasons. One, it's in Lubbock. Usually go with the home team, and I got to be consistent. I'm picking the better coach. So that's what I'm going to do with that. But mainly because it's a home game for Texas Tech, I'm going to pick them. It's going to be interesting to see. A lot of storylines in it. Dana coming home, Donovan Smith coming home, the coach Leach honoring him, and Cliff, I think, as well. The fans are going to be excited, hyped up, backup quarterback, all these different factors lean one way or the other. We'll see. But because it's in Lubbock, that's going to be my deciding factor to pick Texas Tech. I think the game will be close.
Agreed.
And if I pick a score, maybe Tech wins by 6 or 7.
I think if Houston can win the turnover battle, cause some turnovers with that young quarterback, maybe get a pick, strip sack, fumble, or something, I can see them. I think it should be close, especially. I think it's going to be a close game. I agree with both of you guys. It'll be a close one.
I think it's going to come down to the offense. Can the offense move the ball? Can the offense
can they score touchdowns
on the scoreboard? Yeah. Absolutely. Because for the most part, what we've seen in all 4 games from the defense can give you at minimum 2 strong quarters. And they did it against TCU, so they've shown that they can compete against Big 12 competition. And I think Texas Tech, I think TCU ceiling is a lot higher than Texas Tech. So I think the defense.
This Texas Tech team lost to Wyoming.
Agreed. I think the defense is going to, cause some havoc for the Texas Tech offense. They might have a couple of drives here and there where Tech is able to move the ball and they ultimately end up scoring. But if Houston can put up points, I think the defense can do more than enough to win the game, or to at least give the offense a chance to win the game. It's going to come down to offensive execution, and down, like you said, I agree 100%. Scoring touchdowns on the boards and not settling for 50-yard field goals that are just ruining the kicker's stats for the season.
Yeah, T.I. says this, and we all know the history of UH losing to Texas Tech for a while now. The statement is true for everybody. It's going to come down to who takes advantage of field position, turnovers, and short yardage conversions. And Deion keeps hitting on it, hammers it home. The Coogs need to, when they get in the red zone, score touchdowns instead of field goals.
Mm-hmm.
They do that, then obviously they improve their chance to win a game. But the same could be said for Texas Tech. It's going to come. Football is simple. Don't turn it over. Typically you win the turnover battle. Don't have dumb penalties. You get touchdowns instead of field goals, you win. And we'll see who does that next Saturday. 2:30 kickoff. And I guess we'll find out the network Monday or Tuesday. But the Coogs in Lubbock and try to improve to 3-2 and 1-1 in Big 12 play.